Okay, let's say we have something like, I know the shadow's there. Let's say we have x squared plus 2x minus 5. And we're going to say, let's find the domain and range in interval notation where this is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 0. We're going to look at the domain and range for each. Now, since this one does not factor, we're going to do quadratic formula. Okay? So we're going to remember x equals negative b plus or minus the square root. Okay? We'll start doing the math out here. Hold on. So let's say negative b is going to be negative 2. Let's see here. Plus or minus the square root of b squared being 4. Now I always put the minus sign there. Over here I'm going to say 4ac. That way I don't make a mistake, right? So a is 1 and c is negative 5. So that gives me a negative 20, but that gives me a 24 now. Okay? So now we have negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 24, all divided by 2 times a. So I get 2. Now we're going to simplify that a little bit and say root 4 times root 6 is 2 root 6. So now we have 2 root 6. Now I know you can do that in your head, but I'm just going to factor it out nicely. Okay? So if I have negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 6 over 2, I'm going to take a second just to factor out the top. And again, I know there are quicker ways. I just want to do it this way for a minute. So if I take out a 2, that gives me a negative 1 plus or minus root 6 all over 2. And then I get that. Now you could have done it like this, absolutely. Okay? But just for a second. So if I get negative 1 plus or minus root 6. Okay? Now what I'm going to do here is, give me 1 second. So I get negative 1 plus or minus root 6. I'm going to put this right here. And I also have to write down, because I forgot already, x squared plus 2x minus 5. Okay. So now these are my roots. Okay. So when I go to do this, I also need the vertex, since I asked for the domain and range, I believe. Okay. So now I do negative b over 2a. Negative b over 2a. So that gives me what? Negative 2 over 2? Negative b. So negative 2 over 2 gives me negative 1, right? I have negative 1. And I plug it back in here, and I get 1 squared is 1. I get, what's that? Negative 2 minus 5. So what's that give me? Negative 7 plus 1, negative 6. So there I go. I got the vertex of that. Okay? So now I am going to make a quick sketch. Now I don't care a lot of things about this. Negative 1, negative 6. Let's call it negative 6, negative 1. Let's call it something like that. I know that's the axis of symmetry. I don't know where negative 1 minus root 6 is. And again, I don't really care. Negative 1 minus root 6. And I don't know where the other one is, but I know it's positive because root 6 and blah, 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 it's bigger, right? So I'm going to have something like this, negative 1 plus root 6. And if I sketch out that parabola real quick, I get something like that. Okay. Now I want the domain and range. So wherever that function was greater than or equal to 0, let's do the domain and the range in interval notation. Okay. So I wish I had a different color. I think I do. In pink. Ready? In pink, I know that it comes from negative infinity, open parenthesis, negative infinity, and it goes all the way to negative 1 minus root 6. Stop. Union, or it starts at negative 1 plus root 6, and that extends all the way to positive infinity, parenthesis. Okay? Now the range where this is greater than 0 would be hard stop at 0, and that goes to positive infinity, which never ends, right? Now where it's less than or equal to 0, let's do that in orange. Oop, give me 1 second. See that right there? Okay, so here we go. Where am I? Oh yeah. So where it's less than or equal to 0, we're going to say domain, we're going to say range. Look at that. Hard stop at negative 1 minus root 6. Goes all the way whoosh, to negative 1 plus root 6, and it stops again. Okay? And when I have the range where it's less than or equal to 0, this is where I needed my vertex. So now I have negative 6. Oops, sorry, hard stop at negative 6. And it goes right to 0. And that's a hard stop there. Okay? That's it. All done.